Hey, so for today's episode, I'm going to walk you through how to write a killer marketing strategy for 2020. If this is something that's new to you, you really want to listen or watch this episode. I'm going to walk you through some key things that you don't want to miss and make sure they're included in your strategy. And by the time we're done with this episode, you're going to be able to write a killer strategy that'll help you knock it out of the park for 2020.
Welcome to IndustrialSage, a free video podcast series all about digital marketing for industrial manufacturers. Hear interviews with your peers and find out how they're solving the same challenges that you might be facing in your own field. Coming to you from the Optimum Production Studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is IndustrialSage.
All right, so 2020 is very near, and it's budget and planning season. So what I wanted to do is take some time to kind of walk through how to develop a strategy. Now, a lot of people come to us saying, hey, we've never really done this. What do we need to include? So don't worry, this episode is for you. I'm going to walk you through what you need to include in a strategy, and I'm going to have some tools and some resources that are really going to help you to be able to plan this out. So really the first thing that you need to do is to set up a baseline. And what do I mean by that? I mean, let's look at and let's measure kind of what you're doing and what you're not. So it's almost like giving yourself an audit. Like, I'll give you a really good example. Do you have Google Analytics set up on your website? Do you have a website? What do you have on there? Do you have a blog? Are you doing an email campaign? Are you doing all these different things? That's sort of number one. Just kind of lay out that foundation of what you have and what some of those metrics are. So for example, let's say you've got a website, let's say you have Google Analytics set up. Go in there and we want to see how much traffic are you getting on a monthly basis. Maybe look at the last year, maybe the last 2 years, and just kind of get a sense. On average, we're getting, 500 people, 1,000 people, maybe it's 10,000 people a month. But let's figure out what that is, because you can't fix what you can't measure. So make sure to get that sort of locked down. When you're looking at Google Analytics, for example, you're going to want to look at things like not just overall website traffic, but maybe get a sense of your direct traffic. This is people who are typing in your web address and coming directly to you. You want to look at your organic traffic. That's people who are searching for things that your website pops up for. So, for example, if you're selling pressure sensors, and let's say you've got a blog article about, what's the best pressure sensor for 2020 or whatever, and somebody Googles that, then that blog article pops up. That's called organic. That's a very big thing that you're going to want to be thinking about later. But let's get a sense of, what that organic reach, how much traffic is coming to you because they're finding you on the internet. That's very exciting. Referral traffic is another thing you want to look at. So how many other websites are referencing or referring back to you? This could be news organizations, trade magazines, other websites. There's a whole host of things. And that can really help be a great treasure trove to find out, hey, people that are sending you traffic, you kind of might want to figure that out and see how they can send you more. And then paid. So if you've got, let's say, ad campaigns going on, you can get a sense of, what traffic is being driven for paid. If you don't have any paid traffic, okay, well then you're not going to have that. So that's just kind of one example of what I mean in terms of being able to figure out sort of the baseline. It's going to be different for every organization. So kind of figure out from a digital standpoint, what do you have and what are those metrics? So if you've got email campaigns going, great. Let's measure how many emails you're sending out per month, what your open rate is, what your click-through rate is, and your overall consumption. If you've got videos, how many are you releasing? How many views are you getting? How much of a video on average is somebody watching? Are they watching 5% of that? Are they watching 20% of it? If you're on social media, what social media channels are you on? How much content are you creating? How much engagement are you getting? You get the picture. So just put together a snapshot of everything you're doing, where you are, because again, you can't fix what you can't measure. So that's number one, okay? Number two is get a sense of where do we want to go and how, and we want to sort of reverse engineer this. So a really great starting place is saying, hey, we want to grow our web traffic. Well, great. Why do we want to grow our web traffic? Well, we want to grow our web traffic because we know that if we can get, 1,000 people to our website, that 10 of them will download a form and one of them will turn into a customer, and that customer is worth $35,000 or what have you, okay? So that's a really good way of saying, okay, so we want to increase the amount of sales that we have. So we know that there's 1,000 people coming to our website, and for every 1,000 that we get one customer that's worth 35,000. Okay, we need to get more traffic. So how can we get more traffic? You see where I'm going with this? Another way of looking at it is saying, hey, how much revenue or sales do we want to grow by using online media? Maybe your company as a whole is saying, listen, for 2020, we really want to move the needle by 10%, or we want to take X amount of market share, or what have you. Whatever that metric is, we can reverse engineer that and figure that out, digitally. Now, you need to have these metrics set up ahead of time, what we talked about, number one, setting up what you have. If you don't have anything, okay, well, then, you're going to have to start from zero. So that means you're going to have 100% increase, 1,000% increase, for the first month or two, and then it's going to drop down. But you want to make sure you have that, set up in stone, have a clear understanding of what you want to do in 2020, and then we're going to sort of, back into it. So let's say for that example that I talked about we want to grow, by, I'm just going to keep it super simple, $1 million, and each of our products are $35,000 a piece, or the average buyer is doing that. Okay, and we know that 1,000 people that are coming to the website, for every 1,000 people that come to the website, one person buys, and they're worth $35,000. Okay, it's simple math at that point. So we need 30,000 people to the website, and if that metric holds true, then there you go, boom, voila, that's the goal. Okay, now listen, I'm giving you a very, very sort of arbitrary numbers and figures and ideas, but this is kind of what you want to be thinking about. So, okay, great. So we think that if we get 1,000 people to our website, that means that's one customer, and that's going to be $35,000 to us. So if that holds true, let's get 30,000 people that are qualified or that are in our audience, not just 35 random people, 1,000. Then those will be our metrics. All right. So what you're going to want to do is kind of break these goals down, what we call SMART goals. So there's an acronym, and that is specific, is S, M is measurable, attainable is A, relevant, and timely. Okay, so what I just kind of laid out there, saying we want to grow by 1,000. We want to grow to 30,000 because we want 1 million people to come in. That's an example of a SMART goal. Why? Because A, it's specific. It's a specific thing, saying we grow traffic, then we grow revenue. Very specific, okay? It's measurable. Well, we can measure against that every day. We can look at our web traffic, we can look at our conversions, we can look at sales. Very good. Attainable. Is that attainable? In the sense of, is that super realistic? Well, I don't know. If we want to 30x our web traffic, that may or may not be attainable depending on the tactic. And listen, with money, you can make all these things happen. So it's just a matter of how you're able to do that. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Is it attainable? Yes, it is attainable. But you got to go about it smartly, if that's a word. So, and the next thing is relevant. Is that even relevant? Like, let's look, kind of a dumb question here, but does it align with your overall objectives of the company? Oh, we want to grow by X%. Does that align? Maybe $1 million is higher than that goal, or lower, or whatever. But I think really the goal is it a relevant goal that you're trying to achieve? So a good example is, we want to grow Twitter by X amount of followers. That's great, but is that relevant? Are your actual buyers on Twitter, and is that going to help you actually, drive sales? They may be, and that may be a perfectly relevant goal, saying we want to grow our Twitter, follower by X amount. That's up for you to know your audience and whether that actually is going to drive that metric or not. So that's where that relevant piece comes in. And then timely, that's another thing. Say, listen, for 2020, from January 1 to December 31, assuming you have a fiscal calendar year, then is that actionable within that time? Is that something that makes sense and that we can do in that time frame, and that it's not like something that we've figured out, well, actually, this is going to take us 2 years to do, so maybe we need to back down off that. So really looking at that overall framework is going to really help you to be able to make sure that you're set up for success. All right, so after you have your SMART goals, you want to figure out your personas. Now, we've got a great guide where you can download to be able to we walk you through on how to do this. And your personas essentially are really your sort of your target market, like your audience on who you're selling this product or service to, but kind of looking at it a little bit deeper. So with every product purchase that you have, depending on the price, typically, the higher the price, the more involved you have people, whether it's, maybe the C-suite gets involved, and the operations down to the end user. Now, not everybody is a decision maker on that purchase, but there's certainly a lot of influencers involved. So really mapping that out will help you be really successful in terms of what we will do on the next phase of developing content for those personas who will help to champion that sale, right? So that's going to be very, very, very important. Like I said, we've got a download where you can download that. But making sure you have a crystal clear understanding of, for this product, here are the different people who are going to be involved with that decision. And we need to create content that will speak to everybody at that level. Okay. So now we're going to move into the next piece, and that is really developing content and having a plan and a strategy around what content do we need to get to those new viewers that's going to speak to those personas that's going to help buy our product, okay? So again, we've got a great guide for you. It's our digital marketing content planner. And what you can do is you can go download this thing. It's a great spreadsheet, and it literally walks you through how to fill this out and what that is. So it's going to look at your SMART goals. It's going to look at your personas. It's going to look at different things like a blog strategy, ad, figuring out a release schedule for different social media types of content, and really help you give a full picture like, okay, this is what we need to be doing, this is what we should be doing, this is how we should be doing it, and you kind of need to fill in the blank. So a couple things that you're going to want to look at there, and I'll just kind of give a little bit of a high level overview on some of this, because you can go download this and we get a little bit deeper into the weeds and actually walk you through on how to use it. Is you want to be thinking about, in our example of driving traffic to your website, you want to be looking at a paid strategy if you can, where you're paying for traffic, which could be PPC, it could be doing LinkedIn ads, it could be using an ad platform where it's kind of focusing on all these different things. It could be leveraging that relative to remarketing or retargeting, depending on how you use it or how you pronounce it, or reference the term. You can use it interchangeably. And this is going to help to really kind of fuel that traffic a little bit faster. You want to be looking at that. If you can afford it, I recommend that. That's going to help you get to that 30,000 that we talked about a lot faster. The other thing you want to be doing, though, in conjunction with that is a robust blog strategy. You need to be blogging. You need to be blogging a lot. And the reason why is that it really is going to influence your SEO or your organic reach. We talked about this a little bit earlier, where I gave that example of looking at your Google Analytics and looking at your organic reach. What that is, again, is when people are online looking for a product, or rather, it could be a product. Typically they're looking to solve a problem. They're going to be Googling how to do this. What is the best pressure sensor for X? Or what is what are the top 5? Things like that, okay? That needs to fuel your blog strategy and your content strategy. Because if we think about it, what can we do to be able to help people in the very early stages of that buying process online? There's a stat now that talks about by the time that a buyer reaches out to you, they are like 80% down that buying decision path. Okay, and so they're starting all of their research, they're starting that process online. If you're not online, you don't have that content there, you're missing out. So the opportunity is to really leverage these blogs and this other content to be able to help educate your prospect. So having how-tos and different guides and different things are going to really help you be able to feed that. A really great way of going and getting those topics is talking to your sales team. Ask them, what are the frequently asked questions that you get asked in the sales process? Because I guarantee you, if they're asking that during the sales process, they're asking that online. They're searching for that. So there you go. That's your content. Take it and create a lot of it very quickly if you can. Come up with a strategy. Can you guys do it monthly? Can you weekly? Can you do it daily? The short version is the more blog content, the more frequent that you're doing it, the better. it's going to help your traffic. But it's a long-term play. They're going to build on each other. It's evergreen content. It's content you're going to build, and you're going to do it, and it's going to live on your website for years, and it's going to help you out for years. Unlike paid media is going to, as soon as you turn that off, it's like it's opening up a pipe, and all the water and everything. Oh, here's come all the traffic, and then you turn off the ads, you close it, they stop. Organic is going to keep going, but it's going to take longer to get there. So using those two things are really going to help you. And also, working in conjunction with your social media to be able to help, reach it. So having blogs, for example, is great, but you also need a way of being able to disseminate it. So doing things like you're integrating in your email campaigns, putting it on your social media. And that way you're not like having to figure, oh man, we need all this other content. So if you kind of start with a block of blogs, and that can kind of fuel everything else, that's really going to help you out. One of the tricks that we do, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, is, creating a lot of video content is difficult. Writing can be a little difficult. So one little secret sauce is, well, do video. Do long-form video content, kind of like what we do here at IndustrialSage. We are able to fuel a lot of content based off of that. And it's just a really great trick on how to be able to do that. And create blog content, but also have videos behind it that you can use in social. People love using video content in social. So be thinking about that, in a little bit on how you can use it. Now, listen, there's like a whole host of other different things that you can do to different tactics that you can use to hit our goal of increasing your web traffic from 1,000 people to 30,000 people. And that's really kind of what you've got to figure out. I can't answer that for you on this episode because everyone's different. But what I can do is help to give you the tools so you can create an awesome plan so that when you go to your CFO or whoever is going to sign off on your budget, say, hey, look, this is what we want to do, this is what it's going to cost, this is how much, this is why we want to do it, and here's a framework, and it's set up for success so that you can actually have a plan that you can execute again and say, listen, this plan is going to help us to be able to get 30,000 people to our website by the end of 2020. And this is what we think the revenue impact can be or should be. And guess what? You can measure that throughout the process and you get a sense of how things are tracking there. So I hope this episode was really helpful for you. I could probably go another 4 hours on this, if not more. But I just kind of wanted to set a basic framework that can really help you out, especially if you haven't really written down a marketing strategy. I want you to be really successful in 2020. Digital marketing is growing. More and more people are doing it. If you have not done it, you need to really, really, really think very hard and actually execute something in 2020 because you're going to be left behind. That's just where everyone's going. We've got a lot of resources here on IndustrialSage that can help you to be able to do that. If you are saying, hey, this sounds awesome, but man, we are super lost or we don't know what to do, we can actually help you out with that if that's something that would be of value to, where we can bring in our experts and help develop a roadmap for you, help to develop this plan for you. Sit down with your team, your stakeholders, get an understanding of the organization, and develop a plan for you and say, hey, look, this is where you need to be looking. For you guys, you need to be looking over here. You guys need to be looking over here. If that's something that you would find valuable, reach out to us and we can help you. We help a lot of organizations to be able to do that, and it's incredibly valuable. But be on the lookout for a lot of other resources. You've got the Persona Developer, the Digital Marketing Content Planner Guide you can download out of this. We're also going to be releasing our insights. If it hasn't been released by the time this episode is launched, it'll be out soon. This is going to be a really great way to see what other organizations are doing and be able to sort of benchmark yourself against the industry. So you can take that data and say, hey, look, boss man or boss lady, here's where we are, right? And here's where everybody else is. Or we're here or whatever, but we can see a clear trend that everything is going this way and we need to jump on that train. And we're either behind and we need to catch up, or we're right in line but we need to continue to stay in line, or we're way ahead and we need to continue to stay ahead. And this is how we're going to do it. This is what everyone else is doing. The trends are super clear. This is where it's moving. There's a lot of confusion about what to do, so we're hoping to be able to create a little bit more clarity here with IndustrialSage for that. So that's it. That's all I've got for you for today. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Listen, if you have a question, you say, listen, I listened to this episode and it was awesome, but I wish you had gone a little deeper on this or that, reach out to us. We'd love to answer those for you and to be able to help to continue to be a strong resource for you. You can reach out to us at industrialsage.com/questions, and I'll answer it on the show. And we'll go from there. So thanks so much for being a subscriber. If you are, if you're not, you need to be one. Go to the website, jump on our email list. It's awesome. And yeah, all right, I'm done. I'm going to stop. Have a great day. I'm Danny, and this is Industrial Sage.